Good day, everyone. I have this nice little 36 volt Nakto bike, and the battery wore out on it. And in today's video, we're going to rebuild it with brand new cells. If you're interested, stay tuned. So this battery is 36 volt 10S battery. It still takes charge, but it just doesn't last very long. The bike will only go for about 2-3 miles before it shuts off. You could shut it off and then restart it, and it'll kind of go for a little longer. But it's just this battery is completely wore out. It doesn't last very long at all. So right now it has 39.4 volts on it. As you can see, so the first step is we're going to tear it down and go from there. All right, so this is inside of the battery. The battery consists of 52 amp hour lithium ion 18650 cells. They're configured in 10S 5P configuration, so meaning there's 10 of these cells put in the series, and then 5 of them in each group connected in parallel, giving us a 36 volt 10 amp hour pack. So the main positive of the pack comes out of here, then it goes to the fuse. From the fuse it goes to the switch. From the switch it goes to the connector for the battery right here. And for the negative is goes, as you can see, there is some tape on here because I've already been inside this battery, and I'll tell you why. So the main negative normally goes, you don't have this connected here, so it goes to the battery management system. Battery management system is what monitors the health of this whole pack. As you see all the little wires coming off of the battery management system. It monitors the voltage of each individual cell group. Right now they're at about 3.8, 3.9 volt each. So I checked every single one of these, and they're all about the same, about the 3.8, 3.9 volts. That's why the whole pack is at about 39 volts. Because 10 of them in series, you would times that by 10, you will get the 38 or 39 volts. But anyways, that's what it monitors the state of charge of the pack, and then the output of this was connected to the other side of the connector that goes to the bike. It was connected to here. What's going on with these batteries? They wore out so much. The internal resistance of these batteries is so high, so whenever you pull any load from this pack, the battery voltage sags, and the battery management system always looks at the voltage of each individual cell, and as soon as it gets down below like 2.5 volts in any of these individual cell groups, a battery management system just shuts off the pack. So what was going on with me, I would ride the bike for about 2 miles and it would just shut off. My BMS just knew that any of these cell groups was go below 2.5, it shuts it off. As soon as the load would go away, the voltage would shoot back up to about that 3.8, 3.9 volts. And so the battery still had capacity in them, but due to the high internal resistance, it would not allow to draw it. So what I did, I bypassed the battery management system and then hooked up my bike basically straight to the pack by bypassing all this, and I was able to just draw quite a bit more out of this pack before the bike wouldn't go any longer. It gave me another 2-3 miles of range, which is by just bypassing the BMS, but it just really killed these batteries because they went way below 2.5 volts, and then they really killed most of these batteries. Even though at first I was able to get more out of the bike, and then killed it off completely. But I mean, this pack was shot by then anyways. So what we're doing today, I'm going to replace every single one of these individual cells with a brand new cell. So these cells are EVE 2.5 amp hour cells. So whenever I replace all these cells, I will have not 10 amp hour pack, but 12.5 amp hour pack. So actually I'm going to boost the capacity of this pack by 25% from where it was brand new. Obviously now it has not anywhere near close to that capacity, but as soon as we replace it with the brand new cells, it's going to be 25% better than it was brand new. So to start that, we're going to tear all these batteries apart and then reuse the holders. I need to remember where all the little wires connect to, and then we'll go from there. So let's start by tearing apart the rest of this pack. That was my least favorite part, getting all the nickel strip off the old nickel strip. You have to be super careful not to short any of these out against each other, because they are still live cells. Even though they're weak, they still have quite a bit of energy stored. You don't want to dead short them as you're working this. You don't want to short this one up against that one and whatnot. And not to cut yourself. I cut myself, but yeah, always do that. But don't. Anyways, so now we're gonna swap all the old cells with the new ones. Here we go. Just like that, all the cells are put inside the holders. So basically, the way I'm going to put them together, it's going to be the main negative of the pack, then it's going to be connected there, come up here, connected here, snake all the way around. It's going to be main positive of the pack. So 10S5P. Just one thing I wanted to mention, before you connect any of these batteries in parallel, you want to make sure that they are the same voltage. Mine are brand new. They were shipped about 3.7 volts, so they're shipped at the nominal voltage. Because you don't want to connect two of the cells together in parallel if they have a different state of charge. For example, if this one was all the way charged and this one all the way discharged, whenever you put them together in parallel, one will try to push as much voltage as it can into another one, and that's how you will damage the cells. They will heat up, and then it's just not the way to do it. So you want to make sure that all the cells are at the same voltage before you start putting any of them together or building the pack. What I'm going to do in order to connect my cells together, I'm going to use this nickel strip that I have, and also I have this homemade spot welder. It just connects to the battery with the big relay right there, and the little foot pedal basically shortens these two out. As I press the pedal, you hear the relay click, and I will spot weld these batteries together. So I am going to start on that. So basically I go connect these all five together, then on the other side I'll connect those, and then these two connect together, these two connect together, and so on up until here. This is going to be the main positive. I'm going to do one side and then flip it around and then do the other side. That's the easiest versus just doing here and flipping it around, doing that and going back and forth. The easiest way to do one side, flip it around, do the other. And once I get it spot welded together, I will show you the result. All right, so one side of the battery pack is done. I used just two pieces of nickel strip to connect the series connections here, and then just one piece to connect everything in the parallel. Reason being because this pack not going to see a lot of the draw on it, because that motor on the bike is about 250 watts, so it's well under 10 amps for the whole pack. And each one of the pieces of nickel strip can do about 10 amps or under. So having two of them is plenty as far as the connecting those in series. Same thing for the cells. Like these cells can put out 7 amp continues, but all you need is about 2 amp continues out of each cell. So you have 5 of them in parallel, so you can draw 10 amps easy. So these cells are actually a little bit of an overkill for what this pack needs, but that's what I had around it, and it wasn't, I mean, they're cheap. But anyways, so one side is done. I just gonna flip it around. I'm gonna do connect the other side. So basically, like this will get connected, this one will get connected, this one will get connected, and the whole pack is gonna see should see about 37 volts, since each one of these cells is charged to about 3.7. Takes me a little bit because this thing kind of heats up. This DIY spot welder, I mean, it's not made to do a ton of spot welds, so I kind of have to go for a little bit, then give it a break, let it cool off, and then I'll do it again there. But yeah, I'm gonna finish up the other side, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, and the second side is done. I didn't film this side just because it took me a while to actually spot weld it, because this my spot welder heats up as I use it, and I have to let it cool off and then keep going. But yeah, this side is a little different than the other side. So these cells are all connected together. So it starts with the main negative, goes up this way, down, over, snakes all the way around to the main positive of the pack. And we got 36.6 volts, which is perfect because each cell is charged to about 3.7 volts. So times that by 10, 36.6. So perfect. The next step is to connect the battery management system. I'm going to start with the negative, then connect all the balance cables. So next one over. So the main negative of the pack would connect obviously to right here. And then next balance lead over is going to go to the first, or I guess would be the second, and here, all the way down, all the way till we get to the main positive of the pack, and that would get this connection here. All right, so I'm going to get this started. I'm going to try to film this as I'm reconnecting the battery management system, and I'll show you an update. All right, the battery is all wired up. I got the main positive of the pack. That's going to the fuse, then to ignition switch, and then to the battery, to the connector for the bike. Got about 36.6 volts on the output, so everything is wired in correctly. So me not BMS is outputting the voltage. I also checked the voltage in between each one of these connectors, going from here to here. So each one of these has about 3.6 volts in between all of these right here, just to make sure I didn't mix anything up. Basically, it starts with the main positive and one over all the way back, snakes all the way around, all the way to the main negative, and the main negative is down here. So all of these balance cables connected correctly. That's why the BMS turned on, and then it is outputting the voltage. Yeah, everything seems to be working. I got this switch turned on. That's what you should shut off the switch. It turns off the one. That's what turns on the bike. And yeah, everything functions the way it should. I'm gonna put this on. You probably didn't see it at the beginning of the video, and just because like I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't. It was not the first time I was inside this bike, because as you remember, I had the BMS bypassed, and I got rid of that. So what I have is the main negative goes to the battery, and then BMS now connects to the connector for the bike. So there's no more bypass of the BMS, and I actually don't recommend doing that. I just did that because I knew the battery was pretty much dead. It's not the greatest thing to do is bypass your BMS. It's there for a reason to keep track of your battery voltages and keep your battery healthy. It was just almost dead, and then that was just a hack that I did, but I do not recommend doing that. Anyways, I am gonna finish putting it together. We'll throw it in the bike and give it a test run and make sure it runs. Took a bike for a ride. Everything ran good, didn't shut off, everything was working well. Brought it into my solar shed, charged it up. Took about 5 hours or so to take the full charge. It's lit up green now, so yeah, it's everything is working the way it should. This is my solar shed, by the way. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. The project turned out well. Hopefully this battery lasts quite a while and this bike keeps on working. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.